DNA, the Metaverse dual chain network architecture.
Hi, I'm Alex Lightman, and this is the Lightman Report on verifiable pseudonyms. Let's get started. So here's what we're going to go over today. The global identity verification market is growing, why pseudonyms are important, identity in the post-COVID world, fakes and fraud, no privacy, no security, pseudonyms and anonymity. VPN is the most popular digital pseudonym. Blockchain as a form of pseudonym. How can blockchain help in creation and verification of digital pseudonyms? And benefits of cryptography, an example of blockchain-based identity system, and then DNA's system for blockchain and digital identities, digital avatars, and basically how this increases safety and security. So why are pseudonyms so important? The pseudonym is our second face in the digital world. Digital identities and pseudonyms give us access to digital services, and it can be our alter ego. So you can use the face of Katy Perry, but say, hi, I'm Jane Smith, and people know that that's a pseudonym. You don't want to give your identity because there are people who are stalkers, people who are scammers, phishers, and all kinds of things that you don't want to leave yourself open to all of the bad actors in the world. And in the post-COVID world, digital identity is more important for interaction than real identity because we're spending more and more of our time in digital worlds online. Fakes and frauds. Hackers and criminals use fake documents for know your customer procedures, and there's no strong solution for online verification that can solve this problem. It's an ongoing problem. It's part of why there's over $400 billion a year of cybercrime in the United States alone. That would probably means the problem is over $1 trillion worldwide. That's a lot of money. And there are problems with traditional authentication. So customers use a combination of username and password to be authenticated for online services, but that takes time. For remote authentication, in most cases, identity owners are obliged to respond to security questions regarding their personal and sensitive information. There are whole movies where the plot revolves around tricking somebody into telling you the name of their first pet or the color of their first car or their mother's maiden name. And users spend a great deal of time proving their identity, and they risk their privacy by giving up their private identity information. And there are high costs of this. Even small businesses with fewer than 500 employees lose over $200,000 annually to employees due to the amount of time spent with password management. So the employees are spending so much time logging on and screwing around with their passwords and forgetting them and so on that it costs a lot of money. It basically costs what it would cost to have 3, 4, or 5 employees for a typical small business. And no privacy. Individuals' identity assets are stored by third parties, and the third parties, whether it's a website or a company or a government, keep silos of identity data. Monetization of big data as the new oil. You actually generate more money from big data in the United States now than sales of oil. That's not just a metaphor. It's a real economic fact of life. So it's more important to monetize that for ITs than building for IT companies than building proper security infrastructure. And blockchain-based identities can change this situation. And if you look at this kind of data, for the data is the new oil, raw survey data, log files. As I was taping this, a friend of mine was doing a thing on how to use quizzes to get people into your sales funnel. Previous employee data, notes, customer info, contracts, emails, bills of lading, all that is in silos, but it can also be correlated to make a pretty clear picture of a business person and then possibly to steal that person's identity. Also, no security. Each service provider keeps some portion of an individual's identity information for identity verification, and hackers are constantly stealing and attacking these systems to steal it. So you see this is just a giant cloud, a storm cloud, a perfect storm of the world's biggest data breaches and hacks. Facebook, 420 million accounts were stolen. Indian job seekers, 275 million accounts. Oxydata, 380 million accounts. Orbitz, 880 million accounts. Marriott Hotels, 383 million accounts. Equifax, 143 million accounts. And that person I remember very clearly she had 2 degrees and they were both in music. She didn't even have a security or a computer science background in that. This whole thing is treated as a joke by most corporations or many corporations. And so where do pseudonyms and anonymity come in? Well, the threat of total control is a basic part of digital society. People have lack of privacy in the internet and they try to hide their identity, and we need to find a compromise between security and privacy. And VPN is the most popular digital pseudonym. So there are more than 3.17 billion internet users who are using VPNs for, and blockchains are a form of a pseudonym. So through the usage of, although the usage of pseudonym avoids linking transactions to the real identity, users are not totally anonymous in their movements. All usages behind these pseudonyms might be traceable and linkable, especially when handling multiple entries and transactions with several addresses from various accounts belonging to the same user. And it's a form of compromise between security and anonymity. How can the blockchain help in creation and verification of digital pseudonyms? Well, blockchain's innovative technology has the potential of bringing transparency and trust by distributing the storage rather than centralizing, creating a trust digital identity, automating the processes with smart contracts, and having a concept of a decentralized digital identity is a major part and perhaps the starting point of a blockchain network. And we see all the things around identity management: digital increase, delegation, platform, security, authorization, applications, protection cost, roles, productivity, privileges, certificates, system, access, technology. All these things are all related. And blockchain ledger is immutable and transparent based on permissions, and immutability and transparency are fundamental for identity management. The blockchain is resistant to single point of failure and denial of service attacks, which just rippled across America in mid-June. And blockchain eliminates or reduces monopoly in identity management as it's not controlled by a central authority. So you're not going to get this honeypot of 880 million identities just with one hack. And I wanted to talk a little bit about DNA Metaverse. So DNA blockchain and digital identities. DNA Chain is an open source public blockchain creating a decentralized ecosystem of digitized assets and identity. Through blockchain as a service, or BaaS, it provides enterprises and individuals access to customized, convenient, and secure blockchain services. DNA Chain builds identities called avatars to expedite KYC, AML, know your customer, anti-money laundering procedures, and implement self-sovereign identities. And if you're interested in what self-sovereign identities are, please refer to the Lightman report before this. And we also have an interview with myself and Ken Wong and Anamika Durkes where we discuss that. The DNA chain adopts a multi-layered approach towards security and privacy, and the DNA team is working on implementing interoperability with other blockchain and DNA oracles that can track the actual use of funds outside the chain. So digital avatars. Metaverse DNA is a blockchain project that provides a foundational infrastructure for social and enterprise needs. The goal is to construct a universe where digital assets and digital identities, the avatar, coexist seamlessly. And DNA also builds the basis for asset transactions with the help of the value intermediary, the oracle. And as the company says, thus establishing a new blockchain ecosystem that will transform human society and allow us to enter the new reality. And the idea is to balance off scalability, security, and decentralization. And the end result, according to the company, is that DNA leverages hybrid consensus algorithm of proof of work plus proof of stake plus delegated proof of stake for better consensus algorithm security. And DNA uses template-based smart contract instead of full Turing-complete smart contract to limit security vulnerabilities. And for wallet security, node security, DNA includes security controls. So that's my Lightman report on the use of pseudonyms. I hope this is useful to you, and I hope that you don't get hacked in the future. Thank you.